Our message to them is simple. Your status here may be temporary, but your contributions are lasting and we want you to stay. Hello everyone, good morning and welcome back again to another edition of Moments with Lulu. If you're new to my channel, please make sure you're subscribed so you're always getting notifications whenever I put up a new video. Okay, I'm excited for today's video, and it's been a while I did a sit down video, but that's okay. I'll do more of it as I go through, like for this period as well, because I have a lot of things I would like to share with you all and answer your questions thus far as well. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the new pathway to permanent residency for international students. So as some of you, or as a few of you may know, or as a majority of you may know, the Canadian immigration has decided to, grant permanent residency to international students here in Canada, but there are always like eligibility criteria and conditions for that, and not just international students. So basically there's been 4 public policies added to the Canadian immigration website, and I'm going to leave the link in the description box so you can go there and read more about it yourself, because you don't want to necessarily take everything someone else says for like face value. I always hate all the importance of doing your own personal research, because that's where you get first-hand information for yourself. But I have the Canadian immigration website here, the Government of Canada's website, for reference, and I'm going to leave all the links to the description box, and I'm going to explain as I go through this video. So yeah, let's get started. 4 new public policies were added to the Canadian immigration website, which allows like temporary workers, so temporary workers in essential services, and international student graduate, as well as French-speaking foreign nationals and French-speaking nationals in Canada as well, to be granted permanent residency. And this is all because of the pandemic. If some of you don't know, like Canada is one of those countries that takes great pride in its immigration system, and it's like, and they like try to enhance their immigration because they just know that there's a lot of like benefits from having immigrants, like international students, like work and add to the economy and the recovery of the economy, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic. So if you're wondering why this public policy came into place, this is the reason. So the Minister of Immigration and Refugees and Citizenship in Canada came out to say this quote: "The pandemic has shone a bright light on the incredible contributions of newcomers. These new policies will help with a temporary status to plan their future in Canada, play a key role in our economic recovery, and help us build back better." Our message to them is simple. Your status here may be temporary, but your contributions are lasting and we want you to stay. So the Minister of Immigration, like after assessing the whole thing, because there's so many more reasons why they came up with the policy, and again, they don't just like wake up in the morning and like decide we're going to put this policy. So this must have gone through like a lot of like scrutinizing and assessment before they finally made it a public policy. So that's something about public policies if you don't know. And in today's video, I'm just going to be specific to only international students because that's what I do. But like I said, there's been 4 public policies released in Canada to the immigration. And if you want to read more about that, you can check for the link in my description box and click on it. So without further ado, we are going to talk about this. So the new pathway to permanent residency is for over 90,000 essential temporary workers and international students who are here in Canada. For this 90,000, it's split across different groups. So I'm just gonna like briefly touch on them. So 20,000 applications for temporary workers in healthcare, and there will be 30,000 applications for temporary workers in other selected occupations. And if you're wondering what occupations, what aspects of healthcare are they talking about or that qualify, I'll leave the link in my description box that actually lists all the professions that are like qualified for this position, but that's not what this video is about, but I'm just gonna throw it in there since I already talked about it. And then the one that like makes me more happy is the one that says 40,000 applications for international students who graduated from a Canadian institution. So like a post-secondary, a college, whatever post-secondary institution, as long as you're meeting the eligibility criteria, because there are also conditions. So it may not like be beneficial to every international student, if you get what I mean. And I'm just gonna talk briefly on this eligibility criteria for international students from a recognized Canadian post-secondary institution. Okay, so if you're an international student who has completed their degree not earlier than January 2017. So after January 2017, you meet the eligibility criteria for this application to permanent residency in Canada. And not just that, they also list some conditions. I'm going to put this in the description box so you can read more, but I'm just touching on the major points and like explaining what this means. So you need to have completed prior to the date on your application for permanent residency no earlier than January 2017. So a program of study that the immigration recognizes, basically. And the second thing is you need to have been granted a credential, so either a bachelor's, a master's, a PhD, or like a doctorate, PhD, doctorate from a program, and the program has to be at least 8 months. So you need to have done that program in 8 months. So if you like, let's say, came here as an international student and you did only 4 months of like a program, or 5 months or 6 months, you're not meeting the eligibility criteria for this public policy, so you're not qualified. And let's say you've completed like a 2-year degree, a 3-year degree, or a 4-year degree, or whatever, like more than 8 months, you're meeting the eligibility criteria. Yes, that's just basically what this means. And another eligibility criteria for international students is you need to have been authorized pursuant to the Act and regulations to study throughout your education in Canada. And there's also, you need to be employed in Canada with a valid permit or authorization to work. So if you're an international student and you were going to school, so basically you are working as an international student, you're meeting the eligibility criteria. So you just need to have been employed, basically. And at the time of the application, you still need to be maintaining employment to qualify for this. Like I said, this immigration policy is to help build the economic recovery. And you need to have attained a proficiency level. Basically, this just means, it says have attained a level of proficiency of at least benchmark 5 in either official language for each of the 4 language skills areas as set out in the Canadian language benchmarks. And this must have been demonstrated by the results of an evaluation by an organization or institution designated by the minister for the purpose of evaluating language proficiency under sections and must be less than 2 years old when the permanent residence application is received. So in summary, this just means that you need an English language proficiency exam. So for example, an IELTS, a TOEFL, one of those English exams that's been recognized by the Canadian immigration, you need to have sat for it, taken it, got the required score, and it needs to be less than 2 years old. So for example, let's say you took the proficiency exam in 2016 to 2020. That's a long time. That's like more than 2 years old. So let's say if you took it in 2020 and you're applying for like PR, let's say you took IELTS in 2020 and you're applying for PR in 2021, that counts because it's less than 2 years old, if that makes sense. But anyways, yeah, that's just something I'm putting out there. And another eligibility criteria is that you need to intend to reside in a province or territory other than Quebec. So it could be any province in Canada, Alberta, BC, like wherever, like that's on you, like that's up to you, but not Quebec as per the immigration eligibility criteria for international students. And you need to have submitted an application for permanent residence using the forms provided online. So basically you need to have applied, like you need to apply online through the immigration's website, and you need to, and whoever the immigration officer that assesses your documents or your application will be the one to say whether you meet the eligibility criteria or not. But of course you need to ensure that you meet the eligibility criteria first. And of course, like with Canada, if you're applying for permanent residency, you need to be here, you need to be present. It's just like, it's not a new policy, it's something that's always been there. You need to be present here in Canada at the time of your application. And something else you need to know is that with all these immigration applications and whatnot, like the government, even if you meet the eligibility criteria and you provide all the documents they've requested, the immigration officer or whoever reviews your documents can, like at their own discretion, say I want more information on this, I need you to provide evidence to this, or evidence for this, or evidence of this. So it's entirely up to the immigration. So you applying does not necessarily mean that you're going to get it, but with every application there's always a chance. So if you're an international student here in Canada and you're watching this video, and even if you're not an international student and you know this, and you also like have friends who are international students and you know this will be beneficial for them, share this video, like let more people know about it. I'm going to leave a link in the description box so there are 3 links I'm going to be leaving. I'm going to be leaving a link to the news release that was made on the 14th of April. I'm going to be leaving a link to the 4 new public policies that were added on the 12th of April. And I'm also going to be leaving a link specifically to the international student section where you can directly like read if you're an international student that's applicable to you. And I'm also going to be leaving the link to the IELTS. Yeah, because I'm going to take, personally for me, I'm going to take IELTS because I took IELTS prior to my coming to Canada, even though I didn't require it, but for some reasons I just had to like take IELTS, and since that's an examination I'm familiar with, I'm just going to stick to that and like take it again, that kind of thing. So I'm also going to leave a link. I wanted to book the test, but right now the system is overwhelmed. I don't know, so many people are applying for this, so many people want this opportunity. So this is something you need to hop on, this is something you need to jump on. It may not get to everyone, but there's always a chance. Like, it's just life. And I also need to let you know that the application for the application for the international like students here in Canada, this application is going to open May 6th. So the start date for this policy is May 6th, and that's when individuals can begin to apply, and the end date is November 5th of 2021. But in saying that, I just need to put it out there that the immigration has stipulated that there will be 90,000 like positions, like 90,000 people in Canada, like temporary residents. So in that 90,000 is healthcare workers have like 20,000 applications, other essential services have 30,000 applications, and international graduates have 40,000 application spots. So in saying that, the immigration has also let us know that if they get to their maximum capacity, which is 90,000 in total, they are going to stop accepting applications. That's just what it says on the immigration's website. And if by November, and it's going to continue up until November 5th, so whichever comes first. So if they reach 90,000 applications first, then the application is over. Or if they get to November 5th and they've like gotten the amount they need, or like the amount is like less than the 90,000, it's still over. That's just something I'm putting out there for people to know. And yes, I hope this video was informative, and you know, you still have a lot of time, like gather your stuff together. Just make sure you have your documents ready, like all the necessary documents. If you're wondering like what documents the immigration asks, you can always Google that, or you can always like go to the Canada's immigration website to like just Google or search what the required documents are for permanent residency. But for sure, like meeting the eligibility criteria is super important, and you also need to make sure that you're in good standing with this eligibility criteria. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to put out there for everyone, and I hope this video was helpful. I hope this video was informative. Let me know. I know it's been a while I did like series, like international student series like this, but I'm gonna do more as I go. And just to put it out there, I got all your questions. So basically, like people in my previous, I went back to my older videos and searched for like questions related to like being an international student or being an immigrant in Canada, and I decided to compile that video. So I'm going to take the time to like answer those questions and just have a video dedicated to it. And the reason that I'm doing that is just so I'm not answering one question a million times, if that makes sense, and it's gonna be out there more for people who need that information. So instead of me saying the same thing a million times, I'm just gonna put it out there one time, and everyone can like learn from that or like get information from that. But yeah, that brings me to the end of today's video, and I hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and I wish you all good luck in those of you who are going to be applying for this opportunity. And again, it's always like an opportunity. That does not necessarily mean that, you know, it's gonna be there for everyone, but I wish you good luck in your applications, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye now.